Not everyone loves grammar, but most people enjoy movies. Stick around for the full lesson and you'll learn about 3 movies with great speeches. And if you'd like to study more advanced grammar with me, be sure to subscribe to my channel. What do you do when you hear a grammar term that you don't know? I usually blink, and then I squint as I begin to think. Yes, believe it or not, I don't know every single grammar term used in all the books. First of all, some books go really deep into grammar, and I don't always find the terminology practical. Second, different sources use different terms for the same thing sometimes, like present progressive and present continuous. So it gets confusing, even for a teacher. In this lesson, I'd like to talk about ergative verbs. Erga-what, you say? Ergative verbs. It's a funny sounding term, isn't it? I admit this is a term I didn't know about when I first started teaching English. In fact, I didn't hear about ergative verbs until years after I got certified. Most grammar textbooks in the classroom don't use this term, ergative verbs. So why learn it now? Well, it's useful to have a name for a concept. We can benefit from identifying a pattern used in speech. That's what grammar is. We identify patterns and do our best to follow what is standard in order to have clear communication. If you watched my lesson on the parts of speech, then you know that verbs can be transitive or intransitive. Transitive verbs take an object. Intransitive verbs don't. Here's a quick test. I'll show you 6 sentences. Which verbs are transitive? Which verbs are intransitive? In the movie Take the Lead, Antonio Banderas plays a ballroom dance instructor who teaches a group of troubled high school students. The first verb, plays. Does it have an object? Yes, it's transitive. Second verb, teaches. Also transitive. In one scene, he explains his method and objective to a group of parents. Do you see the verb? Explains. Is it transitive or intransitive? Well, there's the object. It's transitive. He explains very well. Same verb, right? Transitive or intransitive? No object. Here, it's intransitive. He dances a few simple steps with the high school principal to show how a partnership on the dance floor works. The first verb, dances. How is it being used? As a transitive verb. There's the object. Next verb, show. Transitive or intransitive? Transitive. It has an object. There's one more verb. At the end, works. Does it have an object? No, it's intransitive. His demonstration convinces the parents, who listened and watched with interest, that ballroom dance has value. The first verb, convinces. Convinces who? There's the object. It's transitive. Next 2 verbs. Listened, watched. Any objects? No direct objects. These are intransitive verbs. And the last verb, has. Transitive or intransitive? Transitive. There's the object. The teenagers soon learned the value of ballroom dance as well. One verb, learn. There's the object. It's being used as a transitive verb. Some verbs are always transitive. They always take an object, like have. Have what? Some verbs are always intransitive, like listen. We don't listen someone or listen music. We can listen to someone, we can listen to music, or we can just listen. Then we have verbs that have both transitive and intransitive meanings. Among those verbs are ergative verbs. Ergative verbs have a special relationship between subjects and objects. Take a look. I'll show you 4 pairs of sentences. Identify the subjects and the objects of the transitive verbs. Look for a pattern. In the movie Jerry Maguire, the main character starts a romantic relationship without much love. The relationship starts on shaky ground. Jerry nearly ends his career by focusing on clients, not money. His career nearly ends over a disagreement with his company. Jerry changes the course of his marriage with the realization that he needs a good woman to complete his life. The course of Jerry's marriage changes for the better. This last pair of sentences is a spoiler if you haven't seen the movie. But at the end, Jerry tells his wife that he loves her, and he has to do this in front of a large group of women, divorced women, so they all have reasons to be angry at men. Jerry's speech to his wife softens every hardened heart in that room. Every hardened heart softens at Jerry's loving words. You just learned 4 ergative verbs: start, end, change, soften. The object of the transitive verb can be the subject of the intransitive verb. Get it? By definition, explain wouldn't be an ergative verb. Think about it. He explained his reasons. His reasons explained? But I can say, please allow me to explain. So although explain has a transitive and intransitive meaning, it doesn't fit the pattern of ergative verbs, correct? Note how ergative verbs can give us an alternative to passive verbs. Jerry changes the course of his career when he openly states that money is not important. The course of Jerry's career is changed by his decision to state openly that money is not important. The passive voice shifts the focus from the doer of the action to the receiver. The relationship between cause and effect is still the same. The course of Jerry's career changes for the better. The ergative verb change doesn't really emphasize that an action was done to something or that an action was received. The subject simply changed in some way. Let's practice. create new sentences with intransitive verbs. The ergative verbs are underlined. Be sure to use the same verb and make the object of the transitive verb the subject of the new sentence. In Scent of a Woman, a cranky blind war veteran and his young caretaker develop a friendship. Here's a suggestion. A friendship develops between a cranky blind war veteran and his young caretaker. The veteran's loneliness and suffering increase his anger. I'd say the veteran's anger increases because of his loneliness and suffering. Okay, the next sentence is a spoiler, but I can tell you that I've seen the ending dozens of times. And the speech that Frank gives to the committee at Charlie's school is just as powerful now as it was the first time I heard it. I think it's one of the best speeches in a movie. It makes you hope for the goodness in people. The final speech by Frank in defense of Charlie strengthens our appreciation of the old veteran. I might say our appreciation of the old veteran strengthens as we listen to his speech in defense of Charlie. So we can add 3 more verbs to our list of ergative verbs. Develop, increase, strengthen. You can search online for a more complete list of ergative verbs. Right now, I'm going to share some groupings of these verbs. I think this way the information will be easier to process and remember. Do you know what ergative verbs are now? And can you say that term with confidence? Ergative verbs. For practice, take one ergative verb and write 2 sentences. Use the verb with a transitive and an intransitive meaning. I'll offer corrections as time allows. You can help one another too. Read the sentences that others post. Offer suggestions if you think changes should be made. That's all for now. If you have the time and interest, you can watch those 3 movie scenes I mentioned in the lesson. Do a search and use these key phrases. Take the lead, parent meeting. Jerry Maguire, you complete me. Scent of a Woman, speech. Please like this video if you enjoyed our grammar lesson. And if you want more practice, consider becoming a member of my channel. Click to learn more information. As always, thanks for watching and happy studies. I'd like to say a very special thank you to the current members of my channel. Hopefully more of you will join us for the next live stream. Follow me and gain more practice on Facebook and Twitter. I also have new videos on Instagram. If you haven't already, subscribe to my channel so you get notification of every new video I upload to YouTube.